So welcome back, everybody. It's time once again to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County, powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, with the man, the only man I know who knows everybody, Mr. OC John Gutierrez.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back again to our community podcast show powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, John Gutierrez, Senior Vice President here, and we have another great show for you today. We have two special guests with us. Of course, we have Mr. Andre Roberson, who is the co-founder and executive director of Power of One Foundation. He's also been on our show before. He's the recipient of the key to the city of Santa Ana in 2022, and he's the vice president of Chanelli Studios. I just want to say that right. Chanelli. I know. We want to shout out to the wife. I want to make sure we say that right. And with us also is our longtime supporter, superstar singer from our chamber, Miss Angel Angie. Many of you know her like that in social media. We call her Angie. She will be performing at this great event that we will be talking about today called the Battle of the Mariachis on July 27th at Santa Ana Bowl, which is the way I know it, or everybody knows it as Eddie West Field, but I grew up knowing it as Santa Ana Bowl. And so we're going to be talking about the event, the fundraiser, and who it's supporting. Of course, the kids in the community, the mariachi school. And so I want to welcome to our show Andre and Angie. Welcome, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
To be here.
Yes. No, thank you guys for being on the show. For some reason, I thought Angie had been here before. We've never had her on the show.
He's confusing me with another artist. I swear.
Can we do a quick explanation of this unique name that you dreamt up? Because I thought she was Vietnamese.
Yeah, so pretty much just Angel NG. As a child, I grew up with you pretty much. You saw me grow up.
How old were you when you sang the first time at one of our Estrella Awards, right?
I think I was 12.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was
12 years old.
Seriously, just 12.
Yes.
And
that's crazy, huh? Wow.
yeah, we met when I was very, very young.
Yes.
And he saw my evolution pretty much of like
Yeah.
a prepubescent child into all of like this, so all my transitions, you were absolutely there and supporting me throughout the entire career. And a lot of people got my name confused because it was Angel NG, and they were like, oh, are you Vietnamese? Are you Cambodian?
Yes.
Are you Filipino? And I remember at one of your events, they were like, oh, you're Asian. I was like, no, I'm an Asian that sings mariachi. That makes no sense, right? So, there are a lot of Asians that do sing mariachi,
Yes.
but
Yes.
there is an artist, I remember Rogelio, he also sings mariachi, and he's a full-on Chinese, so he loves mariachi. But anyways, as a kid, they always called me Angel. All the mariachis, Mariachi Sol de Mexico, Mariachi Toros, all of those mariachis, they always called me Angelito, Angel, how you doing, mi Angel? So I was like, that's my artist name. I'm just going to leave it at Angel. And so I said, Angie sounds like NG. I was like, that sounds pretty cool. So I'm going to put NG at the end of the Angel.
You just made this up?
Yeah, I was like, because it's like Angie. And so the conservatory one day got mistaken. They were like, yeah, her name is Angel, but it's also Angie. So then they wrote it out, Angel NG. And I still have that flyer.
Wow.
And so I was like, wow. At 8 years old, wow, that's cool.
You thought that was cool.
That was cool. So,
but it's not her real name.
It's not my real name.
And
yeah.
I always thought that was your, or at least it was the name, like you said now, it was the name you picked to be an artist, right? Which is very interesting because this really goes with what we're talking about today. I mean, you were a child growing up as an artist. And of course, shout out to your mom and dad because I met them when you were young performing at our events for the Estrella Awards for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And it was just, it's been a beautiful journey to see how much your parents have been involved with you. And now you as a young lady, I mean, we've seen you grow huge events, many places you're performing. And now you're co-hosting with me at the Battle of the Mariachis, which of course, Andre has been just a community leader for years here in Santana, right? I mean, starting with the pandemic, how many people you fed, Andre, right?
Yeah, we fed 3 million 2020 to 2021.
3 million people.
And we're going to have to get him to
We
be
were
less
blessed.
humble and more upfront and talking in the mic. He got real soft
Andre's
on
a
us
little
there.
shy. Yeah, Andre's a little
You
shy.
could,
No, but
it was a blessing.
Yes, but Andre, I got to tell you, man, when I went to volunteer at your, what do you call them? Food distributions?
distributions,
Distributions. Me and my niece would go out and I think I've never worked so hard in my life.
Yeah, we worked
I
hard.
thought, oh, we're gonna
Right,
go volunteer. We're gonna hang out. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna take pictures with everybody. Oh, heck no! It was like 5,000 cars were lined up. There's police officers everywhere helping you organize this.
Yes.
I'm just like at awe when I'm pulling into park. There's like you had like 100 volunteers. I remember, right?
Yeah, we
20 stations or something.
20 stations, and then we were running like probably like 10 to 15 distributions a week.
Yes.
Because we partnered with other local organizations and we're supplying the food there. So we were at the Orange County Fairgrounds, Main Place Mall, Calvary Church, and all these were happening simultaneously on the same day. IKEA was doing the curbside, so we dropped food off to IKEA, God bless them, and they would do the curbside, putting the boxes in the car. Santa Ana PD coming to the distributions, putting boxes in the cars, helping us, and leading the traffic because when we were at Main Place Mall, the line started at Santa Ana College.
Wow.
And so to get that line from Santa Ana College on 17th Street to Main Place Mall, our Santa Ana PD, and then Main Place Mall, Orange County Fairgrounds, Michelle Richards over there, Calvary, they were all amazing.
Calvary Chapel.
Yeah.
The church.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Wow.
So,
Well, not only were
essence-
they amazing, but in essence, it was a whole team effort in the community. Because I remember during those years we would speak and you would tell me stories, and I know we had you on the show before about how it just people came together, right? It was
Yes.
like, let's do this. We have to do this. Yes, Paul.
Can we tell that story quickly again? Because as I recall, you just woke up one day and said, I'm going to feed people. It wasn't like you had a background or millions of dollars or a giant group behind you. You just alone said, I'm going to try and find out a way to feed people.
Yeah, well, I was sitting on the couch watching TV.
Yeah, right. Like we all do.
Like we all do. And, something, in my spirit said, you need to go get food for about 7,000 people. And I was like, okay, this sounds strange.
Yeah, a little.
Went to the food bank, and Mark Larry, bless his heart, with the Orange County Food Bank, I asked him, could I have the food? And he was looking, he was like, I've been a long-time partner. He's like, yeah, Andre, you can have the food. That's a lot of food. I was like, yeah, I know that's a lot of food. He's like, that's about like 3-4 truckloads. I'm like, yeah, I got you. So I go pick up the food, and then Magnolia Science Academy, Stephen Kessenturk there, principal, amazing gentleman, said, hey, I'm going to give you my gym. I said, oh, okay, cool. I got a place to put it.
You just walk in and say, here, I got 4 truckloads of food.
Wow.
And he says, okay, here.
Here's the gym. He's like, put it together. So I'm there. I remember like yesterday, I'm there, and I have all this food in the gym, and this is just an idea, and common sense doesn't kick in until 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, wait a minute. I just went and picked up all this food. What if no one shows up?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, right. It was like, what if nobody shows up?
so right at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm putting like the last 10 up, and I see this car just creep up right in front of the gate, and it parks.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. Then next car. Next thing I know, we have a 10-mile line.
Wow.
The police department's calling my phone, like, yeah, Andre, we're going to shut you down.
And how did they hear about it? Were they all just divinely inspired like you
Divinely
were?
inspired. We put something out on social media, but I guess the word got around quickly, and then from there, news was there. 5, I think Telemundo was there, and then that was the beginning
You
of
just
history.
you woke up
Wow.
and said, I got a vision, and you went over and asked somebody for some food, and I don't even know how you got the trucks and got it loaded.
Wow.
Then you found somebody to
incredible.
pass it, give you a spot, and you show up. A couple of social media posts, let's see if anybody shows.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
That's
Well,
the way God works, miracles.
Yes.
I see
And
a
it-
miracle every day.
And I don't want to take too much of the time on a lot of these other things because I also want to be able to tell the story of how your grandma, right? Bless her soul. I know she passed away last week, and we're sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
But she was like one of the people that instilled this in you as a
Absolutely.
child, right?
Absolutely. My grandmother, I grew up taking care of the physically and mentally challenged. So we owned 6 homes, right? And then she put me at my own home at an early age. Said, okay, you're not
To-
a follower.
to run this home?
To run this home. So I was over 10 consumers, feeding them breakfast, lunch, dinner, taking them to work, bringing them back home, handling the medication.
Teaching your responsibility at a young age.
At a young age, besides cutting all 6 lawns front and back, she just said,
Wow.
She always told me, she said, you're a leader, you're not a follower. And one day you're going to wake up and realize that you're a leader.
Yes.
And she would tell me that for
She
years
like
and years
empowered
and
you,
years.
right? With that mindset.
She did. She was a beacon of light to this world in a way now that after she's gone, I really see her impact, right? She buried over 50 people in her community. Together, we fed over 20 million people because remember, we've been feeding people for 17 years.
Wow.
We were feeding the homeless, low-income families, Delhi Center, Fifth Street, all over Santa Ana. And, for her, she just said, if you see a problem, fix it.
Yeah.
And she said, love your brother and sister as you love yourself. And she was born to help people.
What's her name, if you don't mind?
Juanita Stocker. Everybody was like, are you Spanish, Juanita? And she's like, no, I'm black. I'm from the country.
But you know what? Bless her soul.
Yes.
Yes,
As you were working on this whole big new project, right? I remember you and I talked, and you just said, I need a couple of days. I've just lost my grandma, my world. So, I think now more than ever, it's about her legacy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That we're doing this event. And I say we because the whole community's involved.
Yes, it is.
Right?
And it's a beautiful thing.
If you can share a little bit about who all is involved, because the city's involved. I know the people that you did the food banks distribution with, like IKEA's involved. I mean, Home Depot's now involved.
Yeah,
it's just...
we carried a lot of relationships from the pandemic, and that was a beautiful thing about it. It wasn't about money or anything. It was about, okay, we have these relationships they're carrying. So I was working with a friend, her name is Minerva, and at the last Fiestas Patrias for Santa Ana, and we were thinking, and I had been asking this, like, hey, can I have that? Can I have the bowl? Can I have the bowl? Like, let me do something there. And, and everybody was clamoring for it because everybody just wanted to have it activated. But how do you activate that facility for the community? That's what Santa Ana wanted.
Yeah.
So finally I was like, my friend was like, hey, what about a battle on the mariachis? I was like, battle on the mariachis? I was like, yeah, but that's an idea. But you take that idea and turn it into reality, step out on faith. And I was like, okay, went to the city and I was like, hey, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to do a battle with the mariachis, just not. And they liked the idea and the concept. And they were like, okay, flesh it out. I fleshed it out. And they were like, okay, let's do this. Like, you can use the stadium. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Is this real? And not only that, they were like, we're going to get behind you the best way that we can. So having the support of Santa Ana, also Mayor Mesqua, she's gotten behind it.
Yeah.
Home Depot, IKEA,
the police department.
The police department.
The captain, right?
Yeah,
and we're having actually one of the police departments officers who's going to be singing the national anthem in her uniform.
That's amazing.
A good friend of our friend Maria Gomez, who's part of our Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So I mean, it's really cool how it's all coming together.
For me, I do everything for the kids and for families. We have women's initiatives, so we support women, we support kids and family. And for me, Angel's a recording artist. I'm a recording artist. And when I really looked at it and how I ended up predominantly in the Latin community, I don't know. That's just where my place is. But I was like, okay, mariachis. And I started researching. I'm like, wait a minute. There's not a lane where these kids can go do a program where there's 6 months, a year after you get done. Yeah, right. When you get done
and I'm
with
going to
that.
hop in here a little bit because as a mariachi kid, as someone that grew up listening to classical at home, but also mariachi music, it just ran through our veins. Like, we know Vicente Fernandez, and we were little kids, and I was like, oh my God, they're gonna play Acá Entre Nos, and I'm like, yeah, blast that, so it always inspired me, and I always wanted to be a mariachi person. I always wanted to be I used to say a chanchera or a ranchera, I always wanted to be
Wait, that's
a
what they call it?
girl.
Chanchera? I've never heard that.
No, I used to say
Okay.
because my Spanish was bad too.
Okay.
Because I grew up like in downtown LA with
course.
no knowledge that there were music schools for us.
Wow.
And there was only one school that I remember, which was Plaza de la Raza, which was
Okay.
in East Los. It's in like East Los Angeles and near Boyle Heights. And it was the only school that taught mariachi. And we only had like one or two teachers teach us mariachi songs, but they were never advanced to a certain level where we could grow or expand ourselves like they do in Texas or like they do in Arizona or Vegas. They have mariachi schools left and right.
Have you ever seen that there's a special on PBS about the mariachi phenomenon in these Texas schools? I don't remember what city, but somewhere down on the border, and they go, I mean, it's a huge deal. They have giant competitions.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what we're going to be doing here.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's Go ahead, Angie.
And so when I grew up, no, you're fine. When I grew up, I was always looking for these mariachi schools. I was like, I want to teach and I want to learn all these classical components so that I can become a better musician. But all I was taught was a little bit of mariachi songs and this and that, and it never really allowed me to expand or grow from that component. So I had to travel all the way to San Bernardino every Tuesday afternoon after my school at the age of 6 or 8 through 8 to 12 years old. And I would go all the way to San Bernardino to Sinfonía Mexicana. And the academy is still there. And I thank them so much for all of the opportunities that they had given me. And I would travel every Tuesday to learn and expand and share the stage with Sol de Mexico, learn from Sol de Mexico, learn from Mariachi Divas. All of these mariachis, Mariachi Los Reyes, all of them have watched me grown up, and I am so deeply thankful for everybody that has been in my life that has taught me, hey, mija, don't do that. It'll sound better if you do this. And that's criticism that I wish that I had as a little kid in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to travel 2 hours all the way to San Bernardino to get that type of training.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is you're Vietnamese on top of this. Oh, no, we went through that. I forgot.
Paul, let's stay on task, Paul.
Okay. All right.
Paul, it's only a 30-minute show. Let's stay on task.
So I'm super excited that there's finally going to be a program in which kids don't have to travel that far.
Yes.
And it's going to be super, super accessible to every community.
Isn't
And
this great that she's telling this story?
Every single stage in their life. For instance, you have kids maybe 4 to 6 years old playing easy mariachi songs, but once they get to, high school level, they're already playing Veracruz with the symphony or something like that. So that's something that
There's different levels.
wish. There's different levels, and that's what
Yeah.
people don't understand. A lot of people in the public eye, they see mariachi and they're like, yeah, they're probably just some musicians that learned by ear. No.
Takes a lot of work, huh?
Maria Solis, she is an amazing violinist. She was a violinist for Mariachi Reinas. Hi, Maria. She is an amazing violinist, and she has so much study. She has a degree in music.
Yes.
Cindy Shea, she
Who was
also
on our podcast.
which was also on your podcast.
Yes.
An amazing
Mariachi Divas.
artist,
Yes.
amazing recording artist, and she's also working with so many Grammy-nominated artists as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she has a degree in music too, and so many music production and all of that study in music. And a lot of people don't understand that musicians also study music, that we also study marketing, we
That's
also
right.
study music production. We
Yes.
have a degree, we study the classical music.
So on that note, I want to make sure we touch on, Santa Ana School District and our
Yeah,
friend
Santa
Jerry
Ana, yes.
Almendez, the superintendent, and his whole team recently got involved. We know them through the Hispanic Chamber.
Yes.
We're able to set up a meeting with all of us and Andre. And it's great because they're going to be bringing, I think it's 5, right? 5 schools?
Yeah, 5 schools.
I think it's like some high schools and some intermediate schools.
Yeah, and so they're bringing the schools, and they've made it part of their summer program. They're actually going to pay for the buses and everything to have these kids come. And I mean, when I tell you that that's a miracle in itself and a blessing, like I'm sitting back, I'm like, hey, John, like that's amazing. And then right now I just got a phone call. So now Camp Pendleton has a mariachi band. So now they're looking at coming. Had a meeting with Oscar from Mariachi Folklore.
Okay.
And so he's reaching out to USC, UCLA, and other relationships that he has. So, and everybody's like, okay, we're signing up to that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this is really going to be a battle.
And what's crazy is as he's getting these calls, I'm getting other calls. So our buddy Sal from Kroger, Ralph's Food for Less, who's one of our
he told me
partners,
about that.
reached out to me this morning out of nowhere, and he's like, hey, because he's a Marine himself, and he's very involved with the Marines. Through Ralph's Food for Less and Kroger, they donate a lot to the Marines, and he said, hey, how about if we bring the Marines band?
Come on.
And I'm like, the Marines band? He goes, yeah. And he sends me a link, and the Marines are playing like ranchera music.
Oh my god.
Like I have a link to it.
Awesome.
It was really cool to see this, right?
Yeah, it was
and I'm
cool.
watching this video, and I'm like, the Marines play mariachi music? I was like, this is so cool. So then I send it to Andre, and I'm like, Andre, what do you think about this? And he's like, dude, I was just talking to people from Camp Pendleton.
And what's deep is
This is crazy.
The Power One Foundation, during the pandemic,
Yeah, I
when
remember that.
our Marines were coming back, we fed them. So we built a partnership with them, and we also do their country jamboree. every year.
Oh my
So this
gosh,
is our
that's
third or
wonderful.
fourth year doing it. So when he said that, I'm like, wait a minute, this is like synergy coming together. Even sitting here with Angel, like I seen her online. I'm like, oh, she is amazing. And then you were like, "Hey, Andre, we could bring her." I was like, "Oh, you better bring her to the table." Like,
I know. I was
and
like,
then-
we've known her since she was like a little girl, and he's like, what?
and she's talking about Mariachi Divas, Mariachi Los Reyes. So how is it that
They're all
the
connected.
universe would align where all of these people
Oh
will
my
be on the
gosh.
stage?
They've all seen me in diapers, pretty much. They've all seen me like
That's crazy.
like grow up, pretty much, and like, be on the stage and like, oh my God, fix your falda, it's all crooked. I'm like, oh.
Well, I remember last year you performed at a Hispanic Heritage Month event that we did at Spoons.
Oh my God, super cool
And
event.
you saw some, Mariachi Los Reyes was there. We didn't know it was going to happen. Both of you were going to perform that night. And I remember you speaking on the mic of how you had that connection, relationship with, which, by the way, everybody, if they don't know already, Mariachi Los Reyes is one of our main partners of this event
Yes.
on July
Yes.
27th. They're performing that night. And of course, they've been on tour with like Luis Miguel. They just did a video with Pepe Aguilar. I mean, this mariachi's been around for a long time.
Yes.
Jorge Alvarez, who leads it, right?
No, Jorge, I have nothing but respect for that man. He is
Yeah.
a very hardworking man,
And he's humble.
and he's
Yeah.
very humble.
Yeah,
Something that I absolutely adore about the mariachi community
yeah, yeah.
is that we all keep each other in check.
Yeah, it's
Really?
Not
it's
just
been an
that,
experience.
but we're all big family.
That's great.
It's a huge family.
Yeah.
And
There
with
was somebody there that you knew from the band, or
Oh
them?
my gosh! Well,
Yeah?
Celia,
Okay.
which I knew since I was 10 years old because we toured Salinas and Tracy, California. We did a little tour when she was part of Mariachi Imperial de Mexico
Okay.
back in the day.
All these mariachis. See, Andre, I'm
See,
I'm
there's
learning
so,
all
there's
this.
so many mariachis, yeah.
But she knows the history.
See,
you know?
so I'm glad she's here with us.
Yeah,
today. I was just
exactly.
sitting up here like, yeah.
So Celia, she saw
Wow.
me grow up pretty much, and just to share the stage with her is an amazing honor. Because when I was younger, I was like, wow, I really hope that one day I can sing like her, and I hope
Really?
that one day I can have those pipes because she can sing.
Yes.
That woman
You
can sing.
She
You
can
saw her
sing.
sing.
She
You
can
saw her
sing.
sing the night they had Mariachi Vargas there at the dinner. She was there actually.
Oh,
She sang that
yeah.
night.
Oh,
so,
gosh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
She's
so
a wonderful performer.
Yes.
And so when I was younger, I was like, oh my God, I really hope that one day.
Yeah.
One day, man, I can sing just as nearly as good as she can. And when I was on the stage, I got so sentimental at Spoons because
saw that. Yeah.
I was sharing the stage with Mateo,
Yeah, you
which
said
is a
that.
guitarist.
Yes.
I was also sharing the stage with Celia, which is pretty much saw me in diapers, and Jorge,
Yeah.
because Jorge has seen me not
Yeah.
only just grow up but become an artist,
Yeah.
and he was one of the first ones to also encourage me to continue.
But this is the stories that, we can share with the kids that, of course, Power One Foundation is going to be supporting July 27th, the Battle of the Mariachis, which it isn't a battle. We're featuring all the high schools and the intermediate schools that are going to be there in the daytime. By the way, the daytime event is a free event. Let's make that clear so people understand that,
So,
right?
so the way we designed the day, 9 to 3 p.m. is free to the community. So that way, when you build a program, you have kids, you want an audience for those kids so that those kids can understand the feeling of a professional setting.
Yes.
So 9 to 3 to be free to the community. And then from 5 to 10, that will be the actual celebration of the legacy of mariachi, right? So
Fundraiser. It's a fundraiser.
Fundraiser.
yes.
To pay for the scholarships.
Yeah. And just to make a second note, Jorge, the reason why I have so much respect for him, not only is he humble, but when I brought the idea of this curriculum and things that I had designed, he said, I want to partner with you. He said, we'll help you, with the school, everything. Same thing with City of Santa Ana Parks and Rec, with the partnership that my foundation has with them. Like, hey, we'll offer facilities, everything. Just let's get these kids going. And for me, to have this program grow, I think of it like this: 6-month program. You put the kids in the studio, which is where they want to be, where we exist. We release them through our Sony distribution. What if one of these kids just sang Angel? What if they blow up? What if?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And all of us being the catalyst, and that's why, I spoke to Angel. She's like, yeah, I want to teach too. Like, this is where it's at.
Yeah.
Everybody coming together to create this synergy for the youth. And that is the day first half of the day, second part of the day. So make sure you come out for the community portion, because this is where us as community come together to celebrate.
And what's the date and all that stuff?
Yeah, July 27th, right?
Yes, July 27th.
Doors will open at?
Doors are open at 8 because the
Okay.
show's going to start promptly at 9.
Okay.
And then the Mariachi Divas are headlining the daytime
daytime
event.
show, 2
Yeah,
o'clock?
so
Yes.
so
2 o'clock.
excited.
Yes.
Blessed that Cindy, when we spoke to her, she was like, yes, I'll do it. So really excited. And I think that's going to be really cool for the kids to see. I mean, this is the Mariachi Divas.
And where do they get
right?
tickets for the evening performance?
The tickets are available on powerofonefoundation.org. And then we also have links that we can share. So if you email us and you want to help us get people there, vendors there, people to just
We're
support
still trying to
the
find
day.
more sponsors, right?
Yeah,
We're trying to
more
get
sponsors if
more
you'd like to
supporters.
sponsor it. Just know that you will be supporting a scholarship program that you will be able to follow.
And what's the scholarship for? It's to teach kids mariachi?
Yes, it is to teach kids mariachi. So we're taking wonderful, beautiful, talented artists like Angel, Mariachi Los Reyes, Mariachi Divas, and whoever else will join
They're going to be
with
the
us.
mentors. I mean, right?
Yes, the scholarships are in their name.
And they do what? They come to your studio and they record, they learn to play? Or
Yeah.
what?
So what we're doing is we're creating a classroom setting for 6 months, so that way they can learn the basics, right?
Yeah.
From the basics,
The
they can-
fundamentals
yeah.
and the mariachi, because it's just, you go into a mariachi school, yeah, you're going to play Cielito Lindo. And you're like, wait, how do I play the quarter note? What's the significance of a treble clef? You know, and the kid's like,
Well, and a good,
zero, yeah.
a good example is my son, Jonathan, who loves playing the guitar. He just learned from his cousins who were playing the guitar for fun, and they learned on YouTube. So then my son Jonathan started learning on YouTube. And one day we're at a barbecue, and he's sitting there playing Johnny Cash songs. And I'm just in awe, recording him like, how did you, where? And he's like, oh, I learned this on YouTube, Dad. And so he's never taken a proper course. He's, never learned how to read music, right? He's never done any of this. There's kids like that out there that are sitting in these homes and these apartments in Santana who don't have the means or the resources or the finances
and that's
to be able
the thing.
to do that.
Imagine having already a talented kid that has an amazing ear, because we call it as like artists, you have an amazing ear, because if you're able to sing already and just listen to a tune and sing it already, you have talent. So imagine taking that talent and teaching them the fundamentals. You have a growing artist
Sky's the
there.
limit.
And I think the other thing is, not everybody is going to be a singer, but can be a great, musician. Right?
A musician.
trumpet
That's
player.
part of a
Producer.
band, right?
Yeah.
Producer, music production.
Yes.
What's the
A
state of
singer?
mariachi today? Is it a disappearing art because
No.
nobody's teaching it, or is it
Oh, it's
passed
booming.
down?
No, it's booming.
Right
booming.
now, it's booming.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a certain point in time, I feel like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where it was kind of declining. I think it's also because of the pandemic. There wasn't a lot of performances. There wasn't a lot of life for mariachi. A lot of people had to reinvent their lives as mariachis. But right now, because of big artists that are in reggaeton or peso pluma, it's, that it is their type of music, which is like sirreño or corridos tumbados, but they're introducing a lot of mariachi elements.
Yeah.
You see one of the top songs like Ella Baila Sola, which was marketed and boomed.
Yeah.
And he was the first Latin artist to like get on the top charts in English
Yeah,
too.
Peso Pluma, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he blew away. Even they're saying Bad Bunny, even like
Bad Bunny
in
introduced
the
some
show.
mariachi.
Yeah.
We have Calibre 50 doing norteño banda, but also including mariachi. So it's like mariachi right now is the base, and that's what a lot of recording artists are
And
starting to notice.
Paul, real quick, I got to put this
Yes.
real quick. Disney's a perfect example. Cindy Shay, she has, I think, like 100 girls that are part of her team.
Yeah.
And they're performing on a regular basis in Disney, right? Like for their events, their special events at Disney. And when you look at what the movie Coco did, it introduced, again, the history of course, what the movie was about, but there was mariachi involved in there, right? There was singing involved in there. And so again, that now took it to a whole different level, right? Because it wasn't just the Hispanic community. It was all communities learning about mariachi. And I know we're running low on time.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure, again, July 27th.
Yes.
Go to poweronefoundation.org, right?
Yeah.
Or you can reach out to any one of us, of course. Angel has a large following on her social media.
Particularly in the Vietnamese community.
Please, Paul, let's focus. Focus, Paul. And, also Andre, of course, has a big following. Myself, we're all on social media on Instagram. You can find us.
Absolutely.
As far as our Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we wanted to present you a little something today.
Wow, look at this.
So
wow.
Kroger is one of our partners. We recently applied to one of their grants for several events. And our friend Sal, who wants to bring the Marines to the event to perform, we talked this morning. And so part of one of the pieces in that grant is community engagement. And so behalf of the chamber and Sal, Kroger, Food for Less, Ralph's, just a little bit. It's a little $2,500 donation
Wow.
Look
for
at that.
the event.
Check it out. Look
So
at that.
just to start off, I know you already have other sponsors,
Man, that's
other
awesome.
supporters,
Wow.
but we just wanted to say we're behind you 100%.
Thank you,
And
Sal.
anybody watching, listening, please support this event, support this cause. Again, we're investing in the kids in the community.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And I
go
want to
ahead.
say something, just so people understand. When we say that we're putting a scholarship program together and we're going to give these scholarships out, this is what we mean from our heart. So this money raised, thank you, Sal, thank you, Kroger. The money that you're giving us, no one within our foundation makes a paycheck, right? All the money goes towards the programs that we have. So you supporting us, the Power One Foundation, is really supporting a kid that we can actually see the outcome of the fruits of our labor of investing into this kid, into our community. And I got to say a shout out to Anna, Perla Restaurant, our title sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
So
Perla
thank you
Restaurant
so
was part of
much.
our chamber, right?
Yes.
We met with her. And also Mariscos Valencia is going to be
Yes.
involved with us, another member of our chamber. And many other members of our chamber were reaching out to you. Please get involved. Thank you to the city of Santa Ana.
Amazing. Thank you
because
to the city of Santa
For
Ana.
those of you that
Thank
don't
you.
know, the Santa Ana Stadium, Eddie Westfield, it's something new, and we hope to do this many times, right?
Yeah, because there hasn't been nothing, in over 30 years. So
30
this
years,
is
nothing like this.
hopefully the catalyst for many, many more things that will be happening great within the city of Santa Ana, because everything happens outside the city of Santa Ana, right?
Right.
So us Santalinos, we got to represent,
represent
and
somehow, yeah.
no more Honda Center. It's the Eddie West Stadium. Let's go. Put the
Yes.
concert out there.
And we're working on bigger artists and bigger events. So like, Andre said to me a few times, look, we're trying to build a team right now in the community, because as we do this more and more, we're going to be with that team. And part of that team is you, Angie. Thank you so much
No, thank
for
you,
stepping
guys,
up.
and I
And
hope
I know
that-
you're co-hosting with me, so thank
Yeah,
you.
so
We're
it's gonna
excited
be
about
super,
that.
super cool. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have an amazing time. It's gonna be an amazing event, and like you said, all of the proceedings are gonna go to kids, and
Yes.
that's, I think, the main goal for all of us as musicians. Musicians don't make much if you really
Yeah.
look at it into perspective.
Yeah.
And so when we are out here trying to grow our mariachi community and our Latin community and make it known that us Latinos can thrive and in our specific music too, that's just amazing.
See, her
It is.
LA's coming out on her.
Oh, just a
She's
little
like,
bit.
"Us
Let me
Latinos get it."
let me calm down, okay?
You see that?
Go, girl. Go, girl.
But before we go, Paul, I will say what's beautiful about all this, guys, is we're bringing this to Orange County.
Yeah.
And that is important. We've heard of it in LA. We've heard of it in other places, like you
Right.
said, Texas, right?
Texas,
But-
Arizona.
But we're putting a print of mariachi in Orange County. And for that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andre.
Yeah,
thank you to your
guys.
grandma. Thank you to your wife. Thank you
Thank
to your
you.
whole family who has decided to do this in our backyard. I'm from Santana. You were born and raised in Santana, or all of
Yeah.
us were raised in Santana. We feel like
Scored touchdowns on that field.
that's right. Was
And I
it-
found a picture.
he wants to show. so and people don't know you played for the Cowboys. You played in
Yeah,
the
I played
NFL,
football, yeah,
right?
man,
People don't
yeah.
know you were a pro football player at one point. So thank you for doing this in our community, and
So welcome.
we're looking forward to this event. And thank you, Mr. Paul Roberts and OC Talk Radio, for allowing us to be able to do
Yes.
another great show. And we'll see you all there, folks.
Get your tickets, get your tickets, get
Yes.
your tickets. It's going to
Get
be
your
exciting.
tickets.
Let's go. Thank you,
Let's
Paul.
go.
Let's take it away.
Well, there you have it. One more reason to tune in each and every time to meet our community and hear what's happening. Like the Battle of the Mariachis coming up right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.